are you supposed to be? I'm, the kite from Monster House. Welcome back to Appeasement Pod. It's almost Halloween, which means we're excited to start watching some scary movies. In today's video, we talk about one of our personal favorites, Monster House. Everyone loves a children's movie that was for some reason actually kind of scary, but in hindsight is actually really cool, right? If you'd like to support us, you can check out our Ko-Fi. If you have any video ideas you'd like to see from us in the future, feel free to fill out this Google form. Enjoy the video! Okay, so Nostalgia Blast right here.
Nostalgia Blast.
Literally my favorite childhood movie by far.
It came out in 2006. Also, there is kind of a stacked cast. I never realized, like, Steve Buscemi is Nebercracker.
Steve Buscemi is
Nebercracker.
I have never known.
That's
I never knew
insane.
that.
Maggie
Never ever.
Gyllenhaal is Z, the babysitter.
I love Z.
Interesting.
And then
yeah.
Mitchell Musso is DJ. Like,
Wow,
what?
he must have been like 2. No,
And then
he's
Kevin
probably like 12 or
James
something.
is a cop. Was this the start of Paul Blart? Like, probably.
Is of course a cop. Wait, that literally
Actually, yeah.
It
Like,
also,
like
like, kind of
him.
looks like him. Like, he's just brief for the plot if nobody's seen it. But, like, honestly, whatever.
it's Halloween, so you should go watch it.
Yeah,
but in
you
case
should
you're
go
like,
watch
you don't
it,
want
but
to.
in case you don't want to. But this 12-year-old kid named DJ, his parents go out of town because they're going to, like, some dentist convention or something.
I never got that until I
they had,
like grew up and
they had,
watched
like,
it,
a
and I was like, oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
two in the car. So he's left his own devices with a babysitter named Z, who's
Elizabeth.
She's alt. Yeah, her name's
alt.
Elizabeth,
My
but
name's
she goes
Z.
by
Call
Z,
me Z.
when they're not around. Yeah. Him and his friend Chowder start playing in the yard, and then they drop their basketball into Nebercracker's yard, and they go to retrieve it. Nebercracker comes out, and he's like super angry and mad. He has a heart attack, has to be wheeled away, and they're like, that was so scary. They literally think that he dies. Later, Z's boyfriend comes by. What's his name?
Bones.
Yeah, Bones.
He's so
gets
creepy. He
two,
freaked
yeah,
me out as a
Bones.
kid.
He starts scaring DJ, talking about how, like, he had a kite when he was young and it never came back out of the house. Like, I don't even know.
into Nebercracker's yard.
Yeah, into Nebercracker's yard. He gets kind of spooked by that, and then he keeps having, like, dreams that the house is, like, watching him. The next day, they see a girl named Jenny trying to sell cookies or candy at the house, and they're like, wait! They don't let me like it, love. So stupid. Yeah, so they save her because she tries getting kidnapped, or she's almost kidnapped by the house.
She wanted to get kidnapped by
yeah.
that house.
Yeah.
And they're, like, freaked out, so they call the cops, and the cops do nothing because they don't believe them. So they're like, well, we gotta do this ourselves, I guess.
They're
Go
actually
and break
crazy
into
for
the
doing
house.
this.
Like, willingly, they go and break into the house. They find out that all of the toys and stuff that have been lost in the yard are, like, in the basement of
Yeah, because
the house.
he's like a neighborhood story with his kite.
And they find out that the house is possessed by Nebercracker's late wife, Constance, who was in the circus because she was fat and giantess.
so sad,
Yeah, she's
actually.
very sad. Was saved basically by Nebercracker.
Constance, no.
Yeah, and when they're moving into their house and it's first being built, she falls into the basement after being bombarded by eggs. Horrible kids in the yard.
Bombarded
And the
by
cement.
eggs. This part was ingrained into my brain as a child.
Yeah, I'm
because
gonna mention this in a second, but yeah, that part stuck with me. They're like, wow, okay, so this house is alive! After that, they get thrown up by the house because they trigger, like, the gag reflex, which is, like, just
So it's a
random
girl
weird.
house.
Yeah. Nebercracker shows up because he's released in the hospital. He's literally still in the gown. It's like, did he run out?
Like,
Like,
also
what?
crazy because if he had a heart attack and he's sprinting across the yard
Yeah, I
to
don't
like, get
even
to
know.
them
He's
and
like,
stuff.
Constance, you gotta be careful. Be
careful,
like, calm down.
Constance.
So they're like, okay, we have to free her spirit. So then they go on a rampage and the house
like
grows
the-
legs. Like,
Yeah.
this is where it
This
loses
is how
me.
every children's movie, animated children's movie ends ever. There's a great
It's
plot
so-
unfolding and it's just great. And then it ends in some big
no.
battle. There's
I
gotta be
know.
a big
It's
battle.
always a
And it's always big in the battle. And
They, like, explode it with dynamite and, like, a huge pit in the middle of the neighborhood, and because there's
Like,
construction
construction site.
conveniently. Basically, everybody's saved and they get all their stuff back. And then at the end, you see Bones being resurrected. That's basically
He
the
didn't
plot.
starve for the days
The
that he
ending
was
is
in there.
very anticlimactic, even though there's a huge explosion. But
Parents
well, at
come
least
back.
like Constance is happy in the heaven, or I don't know, maybe she terrorized too many kids. When I was in places, like specifically driving home at night, I would be in the back seat and I'd be scared to put my feet down and fear that she would pull me into the depths of the shadows.
That's
So,
crazy.
yeah, so
that
I would,
that is
like,
like because she didn't even actually. I guess like the house did that.
I know, but it's
Doesn't
not like
remember
because
it.
she fell in the basement. Like, I
Yeah.
just used to be scared of that.
Over the car seat.
I don't know why. Like, she was literally like in it for 2 minutes, but
Definitely the characters characters, the way they look in this is so frightening.
Yeah. To leave you off with a cool fact that this was the first animated feature film to use Arnold rendering.
Interesting.
If you're a nerd like me, then that's
If you're a
kind of cool
nerd
fact.
like me. So we just had a little plot recap, and I wanted to talk specifically about it's kind of ultimately a smaller part in this movie, but I feel like one of the reasons why I liked, or like why this movie stands out in terms of like, okay, maybe it does hold up, is Nebercracker as a character and his storyline with Constance. Obviously Nebercracker is first this like creepy old man, and he has like a bad rap in the neighborhood because everyone thinks he's mean, and then like obviously his house is messed up and is taking children's things and their belongings and children themselves. And like obviously DJ is spying on him, and he's always telling kids to get off his property, and then we learn that this was a facade, and obviously it's kind of like an easy trope, but the reasoning behind it is very sweet. I feel like especially for a movie in 2009, for some reason, it's just like
in 2006.
or 2006, the fact that like Constance was this like monster because of her like weight, but
Yeah, it was, like,
he
kinda
loved her
progressive.
anyway. It's like he loved her anyway, and like he stood up for her, and he literally loved her no matter what, like so much that he didn't want to leave her. He stayed in that house regardless. It took on the fact that everyone would just hate him basically for the rest of his life.
It's like how was
And-
living in that house was like so dark and scary and
I
creepy.
know,
and
well, because
old.
because when he's in there, like Constance, like it's different. She would again,
like she is the house.
and it's like kind of sweet. Like I don't know, when I used to watch this as a kid, I would just be kind of scared of the scene with Constance, because like Mina was saying, like when she falls into the basement, and then also that scene, it's so barren everywhere because they're basically like the first house that built ever in that neighborhood.
Yeah, it was like
and it's
liminal.
just like extremely like there's only dirt as far as I can see, and then for some reason children. That used to freak me. I just never like thought about it. But like getting older, I'm like, wow, this is actually really sweet. Like he literally just loves her, and he literally, it's actually just sweet. And like ultimately at the end, he has to destroy the house because.
But it's kind of like learning to let go.
Yeah, and also like knowing that like
Lego.
that's what that's what's best for her, is letting her go, because she just like the reason why she torments the children is because she's stuck in this house forever. But then the children helped her and him, I guess be
No,
released,
but like
and
if
it's
I
beautiful.
if I died,
And also like
because I fell
Nebercracker
down-
was able to like form a bond with other people and not be isolated for the rest of his
Yeah.
life. Even
Yeah,
after his
he's
heart
already,
attack,
about
like
to,
yeah, he's already
pass
on.
on and be with Constance again.
But anyway,
Yeah, literally from one
Constance
from the
is-
Greg. Yeah,
Constance Russes,
But yeah, if I was Constance and I got thrown eggs at because I was fat, and then like
Right, I would not like those kids.
and then
No,
I fell down in the
literally.
basement, yeah, I'm gonna
To
have
my
a
death.
lifelong
And also,
after
like-
death grudge against children.
and also like because she was already mocked in the circus, like she had lived her
know,
life up
that's so
till then
sad.
being mocked in the circus. The part when he literally, yeah, so like he
when she
helped
was
her
kept
escape.
in literally like a
I
trailer,
know, and she was like
a
alone.
cage. It's
She was
so
like alone.
sad.
It's so sad, but I think that relationship always like stood out to me. Obviously, like as a kid, I didn't really get it as much, but growing up now, it's like,
truly, how many of those were in old movies like that? Like, not even that this was that old, but like still, it's
yeah, it's
never,
beautiful.
it wasn't very common.
And then obviously the end is just kind of,
Yeah,
but
that
we
is-
ignore that. We ignore that.
My favorite parts of this movie are definitely, there's like two, I can categorize them into two big sections. One is the fact that it's like Halloween and fall.
Yes.
The setting is very, like, the animation is obviously not as like quote unquote good as it would be now.
Yeah.
But it's kind of weird and
It
it's
kind of
kind of
works.
off-putting, and I really like it.
Yeah.
And I think it's obviously like sentimental bias
Yeah.
in a lot of ways, but I love how ugly it looks in certain parts. But I also love the character design for like Nebercracker is, I think, really good. Like he's just like a good old man design.
Yeah, I think them playing into it being like, obviously I'm sure they didn't intend it to be like ugly per se, but it being a little off and definitely not like Disney
It's
style.
not like cute.
Yes.
Like the characters aren't
Which
really
like makes
cute.
sense because they play with the
and I
features
love
that
it.
make you look more human and different.
Yes.
And
Like,
then
Bones is so
yes, like
ugly.
he's so, but like you know exactly what he looks like.
Exactly,
You probably
like, I
met someone
know
like
that guy. Like, I know that
probably
guy.
met someone like that.
The other main one is definitely, I think this movie is actually really funny. Like there are so
It
many
is.
scenes
No,
in this movie where I
honestly-
genuinely, still to this day, I just laugh at them. Like the scene in the arcade when
Yes.
the guy's like getting the high score. Like the whole scene is just hilarious.
So stupid.
The relationship between Chowder and DJ, like the fact they're named Chowder and DJ.
Yeah, they're
I
so
know.
they're so like little kid though.
12-year-old
Like
boys.
yes.
Ew, and like the pee bottles and the Mountain Dew, like
I
it's,
know,
just
it's so
good. It's so
disgusting.
funny.
Yeah, it's like gross but real.
Yeah,
And
it's,
when
like,
they're
real.
talking to Jenny for the first time, like kills.
Yes.
me.
I know.
Also like their whole like they both want Jenny.
Yeah, I know,
like
they
they
need
both
her.
they want her so bad.
and she's just there.
She doesn't even care.
Yeah, it's
Well, I guess she does pick DJ at the end, but
but
nevertheless.
you know what? Like of course.
Yeah, of course they had to do
Poor
that.
Chowder.
I know, poor Chowder.
Like Chowder, like they both wanted her. I there's one scene that I really like that always stuck out to me, like as I rewatched it, which was when DJ was spying on the house and he was falling asleep, and then the shadow of the house grows really big and the lighting changes, and then like he is basically, it's like he's in the house and the house is like eating him, but through lighting and dream. It's like really cool for this kind of movie.
Yes, I feel like there's moments like that a lot in this movie too.
Yeah, it's definitely creepy too. Like, especially, I mean, I know some people actually complain about this movie being too scary, like for their kids or whatever. It's like, oh my gosh, like, get over it. But like,
let's have a scary movie.
I kind of like that that's the case. Like, it's actually being a scary movie.
It's not too
but it's
soft.
not like actually that scary. Like, it's really not that scary.
No, and it's also like some of the scary, like watching it back, some of the scarier parts are like when Bones is like, it's like a really unsettling scene when he's like making fun of DJ and he like rips his toy in half.
Yes, I hate that.
Because it's like, that happens like all the time, obviously. Much more realistic than a house coming to life.
Exactly.
And it's also Bones, so that doesn't help.
Bones and
and like those
Bones
as
and
characters, like when they're watching TV, I love so many parts of this movie.
Yeah.
Very good, very good.
It's very, very good.
It's very good.
Definitely give it a watch.